Hey guys, and welcome to this video. I am sure many of you have felt and are very aware of very strong energies lately, and a lot of shifts and a lot of preparation, initiations going on. And just before, I was just laying down resting and I was doing a little meditation, and all of a sudden I was told to get up and do a video. And I had these very specific points that I've been, things that I've been shown throughout the day and the last days, but has come up throughout the day several times today. And they showed me almost like a list, like these things needs to get out now. So here I am, and there's been a little while since the last video, just over a week now. I hope you guys are doing well. I love hearing in your comments, as always, how you're doing, if it resonates. I really love reading your comments. So I will dive right in. I will say overall now it's about rebirth and letting go, because we have to let go of the old in order to birth the new. The really, really important thing is to remember that even whilst in the letting go, when it feels like things are just crumbling, we have to let go of things we are maybe attached to, or things we know intuitively that I'll have to let this pattern go, or this relationship go, or this job go, or this way of doing, or this habit, or whatever it is. Even though we maybe sometimes know it intuitively, it's, we're just in that pattern of being in whatever it is. And remembering that even though you have that feeling that, I have to let go of this, and it might be, it can be relief, or it can be grief, or anything in between. If it feels like towards the grief, it's a bit more challenging to let go of whatever it is that you're letting go of, maybe multiple things at the same time, now and in the time coming. It's so important to combine that with birthing the new, with creating the new, because it's happening simultaneously now. And this is what's so important, because it's very easy to get sort of stuck isn't the right or a really good word, but to be sort of too enmeshed in that feeling of, I'm going to process this. And of course it's always important to process whatever is coming up, but remember to not stay there because of an old pattern. What I mean by this is, some things might go quicker than what it used to. And what is important is to try to release those expectations of whether something is going to move through really quickly, or whether it's going to take some hours, some days, some weeks, whatever. Because things are moving really quickly. Time is really speeding up. There's so much information or content in the same amount of what we measure as time now, because there's more energy that we are expanding, and as we are expanding, what we are accessing is more, but we are accessing in the same measured time, because we measure things in time, and so that makes so that it feels like time is speeding up. So things, if we are sort of stuck in that expectation of something is going to take this and this long time, we might be messing up our own process a bit, because we're having expectations of what we learned in a lower frequency, in a time that is no longer here, which is not the present moment. And we're putting that expectation that something that we experienced back then, or the time we used to process something, or how difficult it was to let go of something, or whatever it was, or how long it would take to create something that we wanted to create. All those expectations, if we're putting that on tomorrow, we are messing up our own timeline in a way, because things are moving fast. So one of the things we really have to let go of now is the expectations that are based on what we have experienced in the past. And this can be challenging for the mind, because the mind loves to grab onto things. I know that from experience. The mind loves to have some sort of a structure, have control, because control feels safe. And so just grabbing onto something or figuring out how something is going to be based on how something was or used to be or have always been. How often are we saying that? It doesn't apply anymore. So every time you go into this, oh, for sure that's going to take so long, or I just don't want to change this pattern, or I just don't want to let go of this thing, because I know it's going to be such a long process afterwards, it's going to take so much. Like, if you're telling yourself these things, is what I was shown, this is just going to make it so that it will be more and more pressure on you. You will feel, because you are expanding, more of you sort of just wanting to explode out of you. And if you are holding back, if you are resisting to let go of something that you know it's time to let go of, because of any of these old programs or patterns, it will be shown quite clearly. So the more we can, just try to go with the flow and try to not hold on to things and just come back to ourselves and come back to the present moment and really trust ourselves. That's the place we have to make decisions from and move from. And as I said, simultaneously with the letting go, we have to create anew. So it's not like we're, oh, now I'm letting go of this thing and this is going to take 2 weeks for me to process, if it's or months or whatever. Simultaneously, you can process those emotions. You can let the emotions move through you when they arise. And always do that, so we don't hold on to those emotions and keep them in the body. We just let them flow through, and we adjust as we need to. Also with physical changes in the body. With all of this, we try as much as we can to just come back to that presence, come back to the acceptance, and let it be like it is. And then when we are in that space and we can move something through, we can also simultaneously start to create. What do you want to see in this world? How do you want your life to be? How do you want to show up? What is the best version of yourself? Start to really play with this. Really imagine it. Really get really clear. Like, how would I show up in this situation if I was the one I know I have potential to become? And start to make those steps. Start to make those changes. Start to get really clear on what you want to create. Because at the same time as the old is just crumbling and falling away, it's like all this energy is loosening up. So if something is like, just tied together, like atoms, for example, in a molecule, and they're together creating a molecule. If depending on, of course, the type of molecule, but it's needed energy to break those atoms apart again. That energy, when things are crumbling in our reality, in our societies, in the world, it seems like chaos, because it's like everything is just like floating around, and it's like my goodness, what am I going to do? What does this mean? If you get dragged into the drama, into all of that, you are taken out of your present moment, you're taken out of your body, and you are most probably forgetting to fully breathe. Because when you're fully breathing, you're present in your body and you are fully embodied. So when all of this is happening, like this is just flying around, it seems like chaos, but it's an amazing opportunity to create. Because if you then start to work with your frequency and you get really clear on what you want to create, you can actually quite easily start working with this. And this is what they keep telling me, that be aware of how important this is now. It's so easy to think that things will be as hard or difficult as it always was. But now it's such an opportunity to start creating. And if you're not resisting letting go of what you need to let go of, and you simultaneously start to actually create, then all of this will come into order more quickly. And if you're really clear on why we want to create, like how do I want to feel? How do I want my days to be? What is my passion? What is my pure joy? What do I just love doing? Get really clear on how that feels in the body. Get really clear on how it looks. And then start to really work with that. Start to let yourself be in that, because then you start to actually work with, like I said, the atoms just floating around in the chaos. You're starting to, magnetically pull it towards you so it can come into a new order, which is the one you want. So even though things are crumbling, and things will be crumbling, and there will be things, in everybody's life, remember to create at the same time as you keep letting go. That is so, so important. They said that there will be an abundance of opportunities to choose between grabbing onto the old and creating the new. So in any situation where you have a choice, there will be many, many choices or opportunities to make choices. What are you choosing? Feel into whether this is something old or something new. Is it something you want, or is it something you don't want? Be really conscious about that. And then when we get invitations from the external, that being, something we are, whether it's reactions to triggers or projecting stuff, whether it is patterns, whether it's ways of doing, being, thinking, whether it has to do with dynamics in relationships you're in. When you consciously keep changing and shifting and becoming more and more of who you are, there will still be invitations. There will be invitations to distractions. There will be invitations in relationships to dynamics you have always been in. If you don't want to continue with that, remember that you always have a choice whether you want to accept or decline an invitation. And it does not have to mean that the person or place or device or whatever the invitation is coming from is bad, but you have a conscious choice whether to accept or decline the invitation. And that's really, really important to be aware of. they said, ask yourself when you're going to do something or take action or something, or you know, just sometimes throughout your day when you're just doing the things you're doing every single day, that we so often are not conscious of maybe the way we do it or why we're doing it. Ask yourself, does this support what I want to create? If it is not supportive, if you're doing things on autopilot, it's very helpful to become aware of whether or not it's supporting what you want to create. If it's not supporting what you want to create, you have the choice to not do it and start doing something else. Start thinking a different thought, you know, stopping that thought when it comes, and choose a new pattern. And these choices we will have to make over and over and over again. But it's a choice. And if we remember that we have the power always to make a choice, we also have the power to choose whether we want to judge ourselves and beat ourselves up, whether we have made the choice we wanted or not. So if you have this invitation coming and you just do something of an old pattern, an old habit, or you just respond to the same trigger in the same way again, and you're like, oh, I know this, I've been working on this, why didn't I make it right this time? Then you also have a choice to become aware of it and to not judge yourself and not beat yourself up, but to become stronger, to become more aware. Why was it difficult for me to not decline that invitation in that situation? Use it to become even more aware of yourself instead of going into judging and beating yourself up, because that only pushes down your empowerment. And we want to be empowered, because that's when we can make empowered choices, and that's when we can feel more of our own resonance. Because your own resonance is the only thing that can guide you the path that you're walking. No one else. No video, no book, nothing. It can be guidance, and if it resonates, you know, you can use it, it's a part of your path, and that's amazing. If it doesn't resonate, you just leave it. Without having to make it wrong, because maybe it resonates for someone else, maybe it's helpful for someone else. Just pay attention to you, be in your resonance, and start really trusting your own resonance. That's very important. Trust yourself. Choose what's in resonance for you and commit to yourself. I'm just checking through my notes. Yes, there was one more point. Water. They have been talking a lot about water throughout the summer, and also now lately it's been a lot about water coming in. And what I said today was just add to the message today and ask people to start connecting with water, with love. So whether it's you're filling up a glass of water or a bottle of water, or whether it is, you know, you're sitting by the sea, or you're sitting by a lake or a river or a creek, or whatever it is, or also in your own body, or when you're in the shower. There's a lot of water, as we know, in the body, and just connect in to the water with the intention of sending love and connecting. So just in that frequency of love, just with that, just send that thought to the water, and just start to connect with the water, because the water is going to be important. They keep telling me. So start connect with the water. I hope this is helpful for you. Again, I love reading your comments. Please share the video if it resonates, or you know someone who might have help from it. I hope that you trust you. Keep trusting you. Keep walking your path. And I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.